Hi, everyone. I'm Sean Bailey, Horsesmouth, Editor-in-Chief. I'm here with Devin Kropp, and this is our monthly marketing meeting. And we're going to be talking about things you should be thinking about at your monthly marketing meeting for September and looking ahead into October and the rest of the fall. Devin, welcome back. So we start this month thinking about year-end planning ideas. What are some things we can offer?
I know it's crazy to feel like you're thinking about year-end planning already with Labor Day weekend this weekend. It still feels like summer, but it is time to start thinking about it. We don't want to wait too long because a lot of things that you might want to do in the fall are probably going to require some planning, and you want to get started with that as soon as possible. So no matter where you are on, your goal towards your year end number, whatever you wanted that to be, you still have time to get there if you're not there yet. And if you are already there, keep it going so you can even surpass that. But some things we want to keep in mind as we think about what we want to be doing over the next few months going into 2022. Number one, of course, I feel like we're always talking about communication touches, but we want to make sure that we're continuing with those and even amping them up over the last quarter of the year. Maybe you have some specific pieces that are about year end, maybe your broker dealer has that. Start thinking about things that you can send out to clients and prospects with the intent of getting them to come in for a meeting or, asking for referrals in that way. If you need to be bringing in more business, if you need to be meeting with more prospects, communication and referral asks are two really good ways to be doing that. And then another thing, of course, to bring in more prospects and to help your clients as well is educational events. So as we head into that back to school season, start thinking about what kind of educational events you can be putting on in your community. Of course, whether you're doing it in person or a webinar, it does require a few weeks of planning. So again, that's why we really want to be talking about this now in the beginning of September. So if you want to be putting on events October, November, December, you have time to be able to plan those, market them appropriately, make sure your follow-up is ready so that when you put on the event, you can do it kind of easy and you're not scrambling at every step of the way. And then thinking about topics to consider for educational events. We know that taxes brings in a lot of attendees. People are really interested in that. They're hearing about taxes in the news. And so that's a really hot topic and has been for a few years now. Of course, Social Security is also a classic topic that people are interested in. That's also been in the news recently with that report that it's going to be depleted a year earlier. So people are probably very interested in that topic, even more so than normal. And then thinking about kind of timely topics, Medicare open enrollment starts in October. So if you want to be doing a presentation about Medicare, September, October could be a really good time to be doing that. And then cybersecurity too is Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in October. So again, kind of going off of what people are going to be seeing in the news, it's a good time to be talking to that. People also say, advisors who have done our cybersecurity presentations say that clients always say it's like one of their favorite presentations. It could be a really great kind of fall client appreciation event. Again, a way to get, them to invite prospects to come and for you to be able to meet people that way.
Yeah. So, we were talking with some master members earlier this week, and one or two of them mentioned how they'd kind of laid off on their communication over the summer because, well, hey, it is the summer, and considering everything that we've all been through, this person was saying, well, she just wanted to give her clients a chance to sort of relax and not worry about some heavy financial planning stuff or whatever the case may be. But being consistent is actually, a critical aspect of a successful marketing and communication. So while I understand the impulse to lay off a little bit over the summer, if that has been your case, you want to get back on it. And, as Devin has pointed out, there's a lot of different things to do. But generally speaking, I think you should just, have a schedule of baseline monthly communications that you do no matter what. And so if you weren't putting on webinars or that sort of thing over the last couple of months, hopefully you were still sending them articles or your newsletter or other intermittent communications. But, there is this sort of this post Labor Day, and this is funny because now it's September, it's the end of the summer, but we still haven't had Labor Day yet, but we will soon. And there is this sort of back to school mindset that really, I think, kind of the whole country revolves around that. And there is this idea of this last 4 months of the calendar year to, get back, is to really sort of, get back to it and, try and finish strongly. And so I think all the topics you mentioned, of course, are great and very timely. I was interviewing a guy named Justin Kramer from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, about his tax presentations. He's been doing them all summer long. In fact, I think he's done 16 in the last 12 months. And he and his partner are really killing it because there is just a tremendous interest among the public on that issue, as well as Social Security. And of course, Medicare is very big. So the open enrollment season, I think, starts in October and goes through into early December. This is an opportunity for people to change up their plans, their Medicare supplements, or move from Advantage to a supplement, or change their supplements, or whatever the case may be. And people can save a lot of money when they do that. So that's why we think Medicare knowledge is important for advisors, because they can be helping their clients save money, even if they're not in the business of actually selling supplements or Medicare Advantage. But anyway, so there's a lot to think about, and we want to encourage you in your monthly marketing meeting to put some stakes in the ground and, get a programming schedule of these educational events from September on through to the end of the year. And we're going to be talking some more in a few minutes about some very specific things you can do. But it is fall, and there's still an opportunity to have some fun client events. Again, this is slightly tricky given the variant and COVID, but we do know people who are doing some events, safely with protocols and social distance. Other people may still want to do virtual events. But Devin, what are we thinking? What are a couple of things that we're suggesting people think about?
So yeah, keeping all of that in mind and trying to be as, safe as possible, depending on where you are in the country. At least in early fall, most people, you can still be doing some things outside. And so thinking about some client kind of appreciation events that you can do outdoors, a tailgate party, you can easily do that outside, have an easy barbecue, or, I've even seen people, rent one of those big projectors and have the game on that. Can be fun, a fun way to get people together. Of course, there's like the more classic fall activities, an apple picking event, pumpkin picking. If you have, clients who have kids or grandkids, you can do like a pumpkin painting party or something. Just a way to get, the family involved, especially if you want to be meeting that next generation of clients. So if you have, grandparents come with, their children, adult children, and then their grandchildren, that can be a good way to get that kind of generational planning in there. So again, being kind of creative and thinking about what we can do safely to get people together this fall, and for you to be able to kind of, make that connection. Maybe you tell clients they can bring a friend or a family member, a good way for you to be able to meet people, this fall and get more of those appointments, and just, be able to see your clients face to face if you haven't been able to see them over the past, few months. And especially as we go into the winter, it might be more difficult. So this can kind of be a nice time to just get everyone together and have a little bit of fun. So, we're talking about communications and education and the more, business side of the business, but now we have to think about kind of that fun aspect too, where you can, get people together and just have some fun before it gets too cold, depending on where you are in the country.
So we know in our conversations with our master members that few of them, in fact, are planning in-person events. I think a lot of people put the kibosh on that sort of thing last fall, but now they're feeling, okay, it's, we're in this thing 18 months now, and they feel like they can safely do some things. And obviously that's everybody's individual call. But some other ideas, I think John Mayfield, who is from Tennessee, no, I'm sorry, he's from Kentucky. And they do some sort of don't miss the boat event, which is a pleasure cruise on a river that flows through Kentucky. I guess, I don't know, is that the headwaters of the Mississippi, maybe?
Maybe. Geography is not my strong suit.
But then somebody else in our master member group in that conversation said, yeah, they really like that idea. Of course, they don't have a river but he's renting a bus, and they're going to do don't miss the bus, and they're going to like do a drive through the countryside of Atlanta or something like that. But and there's the traditional things too, like the sort of wine tastings live and in person or virtual. I think some people may still want to do virtual as well. But the point is to be thinking about those, get them in place, and also, again, a lot of people might have passed on their annual holiday parties last year, and situation is different now. And you might want to be sitting down and just taking a minute or two to like start looking ahead and think about, okay, what are we going to do this year that maybe we didn't do last year, maybe we did, but start thinking about your annual Christmas or holiday events as they are. But what can we think about, Devin, in terms of providing specific educational, beyond the presentations? We have this thing called the Last Chance Financial Planning Checklist. And I guess that's what I'm wanting to tee up for you to talk about. First of all, what is it? And then what can advisors be thinking about relating to this?
Yeah. So before we get to that, I do see we have a question that came in. So I just want to briefly answer that. They're asking, do we offer an invitation piece to use for our tax presentation? Yes, we do have a postcard and a poster, I believe, a flyer. And you can use that as a postcard or a flyer. You can also use that copy as, email copy. It's all FINRA reviewed. So you don't have to worry about that. But yes, we do have an invitation piece for our tax presentation. But getting back to our Last Chance Financial Planning Checklist, I would say this is one of our more popular communication pieces that's available for anyone to buy, but it's also available as PDFs for our AC and our master members as part of their membership. But it is a checklist that is really designed for the end of year planning idea. It covers 8 different topics and asks clients to go through and check the boxes that they want to discuss with you as they go into year end. So I think it's especially relevant this year as people have experienced a lot of change over the last 18 months. And there might be, really specific things that they need to talk to you about that affects their financial plan, because it goes over taxes, retirement, investments, insurance, different milestones. So if they're turning a specific age, what actions they need to take at that age, health changes, of course, that's really relevant. Family changes, and then just changes in general. Things like, are you planning on moving? Did you sell a house? Did you sell a business? Did you lose your job? These are all things that maybe don't come up, in your regular meetings throughout the year, but are going to affect their financial plan. And so this is a 2-sided checklist. You can personalize it with your information, and you can send it out. And it just asks them to go through and check it. And the call to action is for them to schedule a one-on-one meeting with you so you can, discuss these changes with them. The idea is bringing in more business before the year ends and having that year-end meeting with clients. So again, you're aware of these things going into 2022. This checklist too, you can get hard copies, PDF. It's something that I recommend sending both ways. I think this is worth getting hard copies and sending a hard copy in the mail. It's a really nice cardstock piece that, is paper size. So they're not going to throw it out. Has your picture on it. It looks really nice. And I think that it is worth investing in sending that via snail mail and then, following up with a PDF email, perhaps.
Yeah, and we know that over the years, advisors have said that after sending out the Last Chance Financial Planning Checklist, in essence, creating a little bit of a campaign, which we'll talk about a tiny bit more here in a second, but that providing this service to your clients, asking them to take a moment to reflect on some things that may have changed in the last 12 months that the advisor doesn't know about, it is very, very productive and fruitful, because it does cause clients to say, oh yeah, right, I did get that $300,000 inheritance from my great aunt, and I haven't told you about it yet, and yeah, maybe what should we do? How do we get that invested? Or maybe it was an IRA and I'm not exactly sure how we're going to handle it. Whatever, all sorts of different types of topics that can come up, including saying, well, we're thinking about retiring. What do we need to know about Medicare? Or we're finally going to, want to make some decisions about maybe what our approach to Social Security is going to be, or one of us is retiring early and the other is working. There's all sorts of different things. And this is the campaign, the Last Chance Financial Planning Checklist campaign, is designed to, again, show you off to your clients as being kind of their family's chief financial officer in a way, by being sure that nothing falls through the cracks, and that any new things that have developed, you've had a chance to sit down and talk with them about it. So, Devin, you want to talk about some other things that people can do with the Last Chance Financial Planning Checklist for their clients?
Yeah. So it comes with a whole toolkit that has, emails and cover letters written that you can use when you're sending out this piece. But I think most importantly, this piece actually spurred kind of a new presentation that we started in our advisor client program last year. We were meeting with a master member, Maureen Richardson. We were talking about the Last Chance Checklist. She brought up the point that she loves the piece and she loves sending out to her clients, but sometimes it's hard to get them to actually complete the checklist. And she was thinking about ways that she could really encourage her clients to take 15 minutes and sit down and fill out the checklist so they could have this conversation. So she decided that she was going to put on a brief webinar for her clients where she kind of walked through the checklist, talked about certain points that came up in it, and just asked people, I think it was like at 8 o'clock in the morning on like a Wednesday or something, bring your coffee and we're just going to fill this out together. And then you can schedule a meeting with me by just clicking on this link. And that really spurred us to kind of create what we're calling our client action webinars, where we take these really helpful communication pieces we have and create accompanying PowerPoint slides to get your clients to take that action. So I think, especially if you're going to be sending this out in the next month or so, scheduling a webinar where you're saying, hey, here's this checklist, giving them an invite to come and join you, where you can spend 15, 20 minutes. It's a short presentation. You can, talk about the topics that you want to talk about most. We cover everything, but you can kind of personalize it to your audience and get them to really fill out that checklist, and then have that call to action during the webinar of saying, all right, now you can click on this link, you can schedule a meeting with me. It again forces people to sit down and do it because they see this piece, they know it's helpful, but it can be one of those things that ends up on the kitchen counter and it just doesn't get done. But putting it on someone's calendar and saying, we're going to go through this together. We're going to talk about key changes, maybe in these areas that I see coming or what's really important this year, getting them to sit down and do it and then schedule that meeting, I think can be really impactful. And Maureen, who I mentioned, who kind of gave this idea, did this last year, and she had, clients come on at 8 a.m. and they went through it and they scheduled meetings. And so this was actually the first client action webinar that we put together. I think we have 6 or 7 of them now on different communication pieces, but I think this can be really impactful if you want to fully do this campaign at year end, is sending out that piece, inviting clients to come to this event and kind of walking them through it and then getting those year end meetings.
Yes. And of course, everybody has kind of the perfect amount of lead time for this because it's now the beginning of September. And some advisors may get this thing out in the next few weeks. Some of them might not get it out to October. Some of them might not get it out to November. And it still has value all the way through. We certainly know of people who are even delivering it in early December for their clients, since it is Last Chance Financial Planning Checklist. It's last chance in terms of things to do before the calendar year ends. And it drives meetings, drives business, drives referrals. And so the client action webinar is really just a sort of fantastic way to kind of have like, as you were talking, Devin, I was thinking that my wife, who's a gardener, got I think a yellow jacket sting on her finger when she was working in the garden 2 days ago. And it was kind of like getting stiff and swollen. And after a couple of days, she thought, maybe she should see her doctor. And so she called her doctor's office and they said, do you want a virtual meeting or an in-person meeting? She said, no, a virtual meeting be fine. And of course, she met with her doctor and they kind of went through it and, got it all taken care of. And in essence, these action webinars are kind of like a virtual town hall meeting between the advisor and the advisor's clients, right? And there's a chance to sort of, in a roughly similar way, help them identify some issues that may need some specific financial advice or planning, whatever the case may be. So we encourage people to get on this action webinar and look for more communication from us about it, but it is there available for our advisor client members and our master members. So be sure to get in there and take a look at that.
Yeah, just to add, I see a question about how do we get the sample shown too. If you're not an advisor client or a master member, you can also purchase the checklist separately. If you go to horsesmouth.com /last chance, you can find it there.
Yeah, good. So, well, now we get down to the absolute specific advisor client recommendations. Advisor client is Horsesmouth's turnkey digital marketing program. And for the month of September, Devin, what do we got on tap for them?
So September's theme is healthcare planning, really focused on Medicare. Like I said earlier, we have open enrollment starting in October. So this is kind of your ramp up to reminding clients that you can, help them on this topic. And then also if they're at an age where they need to make a Medicare decision, reminding them that it's time to do that. So we have a couple article reprints that you can be sending out to clients and prospects. Building healthcare costs into retirement. We know that healthcare is one of the biggest expenses as people head into retirement. So this reprint really lays out how clients and prospects can start to think about what that cost might be in retirement and how it fits in their budget. And then we also have the healthcare checklist. It's kind of like our key data for Medicare. So it lists all of the important Medicare information for the year. So premiums, deductibles, all of that. It's two-sided again, and you can personalize that with your information. That's something too you can also send out to centers of influence. Again, this is kind of information that their clients might ask them about, especially CPAs, and they don't know a lot about, and it has your info on there. So it can be a really impactful piece to send out to clients, prospects, and COIs.
Right.
And then we also have, if you're a master member, obviously our Savvy Medicare presentations are available for you to be putting on to your clients and prospects. For advisor client, if you're looking for a presentation to give to CPAs for CPE credit, you have the Medicare for CPAs presentation available for you. So if you're looking to try to make some of those connections before year end, you might want to be talking about Medicare. And then going back to our client action webinar, we also have a client action webinar that is based on that Medicare kind of quick reference guide that I was mentioning earlier. Again, Medicare is a complicated topic and most of your clients are going to have questions on it. And so you can kind of lay out at least the key information that they need to know so they have that base level of education going forward. So September is all about Medicare education and making sure that those clients who need to have information for open enrollment have it, and those who aren't there yet at least are starting to think about it.
Right. Good. So how are we doing for questions? Any more?
We do. I have the Social Security package. What is a master member?
Good question. So over the course of the last 15 years, Horsesmouth has expanded from just providing its basic daily service to topical programs like Savvy Social Security, Savvy IRA planning, Savvy tax planning, Savvy Medicare, Savvy Social Security, soon Savvy long-term care planning, and Savvy Cybersecurity. And I'm sure I left out Savvy generational planning, which covers estate planning. And advisors started buying all these different programs, but they'd buy one in September and the other in March and the next one in April. And they were constantly getting renewal statements from us for the individual programs. And people got to a point where like, man, I love everything you have. Can't you just knit it all together into one bundled package? Give me a good discount on it. So we have access to everything with one annual renewal date and a bunch of other great benefits. And so that is what we've been doing. And that's what the master membership is. You have access to everything and you get it before everybody else. You get all new materials every single year. You have access to our special master member website, where we're now hosting monthly learning exchanges among the master members. You get 25% discount on all of our printed materials. So if you buy extra, laminated guides for Social Security or tax planning or whatever, you can get those for a 25% discount. And you get a 25% discount off of all of our live and virtual training workshops. So that's what the master membership is. You get everything and you get special treatment. And advisors have been, piling into it now. I think we had a record number of new advisors take it on last year, and I think we're on track to do the same again this year. It's a really, I think it's an amazing foundational support for any advisor who I think smartly views him or herself as a financial educator as their main thrust of their marketing or their positioning or their value proposition. It really helps the value proposition because you are able to have access to the subject matter experts and all this FINRA reviewed material. A client comes in and asks a question on a particular topic that you hadn't really focused on. Well, you can see, geez, there's a master membership program on that topic. Let's dig it up and let's pull it up and see what we've got, what kind of resources that you can share with your clients, and maybe you can organize many advisors are now organizing their entire annual marketing program around the fact that they are master members and they have access to all these different FINRA reviewed presentations on the different topics. And so if you follow us here on a monthly basis, you'll see that we, toward the end of each one of our monthly marketing meetings, we were talking about the kinds of things that people do in advisor client, and you get access to advisor client also as part of the master membership. So you just get everything, and just empowers you to, really look like a thought leader in your community, the sort of go-to person around these 8 or 10, 12 major financial planning topics. So that's what the master membership is. All right, Devin, what else do we need to cover here?
So looking forward to October, just to think about marketing activities for October. Like you were saying, each month for our master members has a theme, and October's theme is cybersecurity. It's National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so it's just, in the news a lot. And we have an article reprint on that. It's on elder scam, which unfortunately is a continuing and rising issue that we see senior citizens being targeted overwhelmingly by certain types of scams. So we have a reprint called 4 Common Elder Scams, How to Stay Safe and Fight Back. This, I think, is a great piece to be sending out because it talks about the different kind of scams that are specifically targeted at the elderly. So Social Security scams, Medicare scams, things like the Sweetheart scam, which I'm sure people have heard about, where, scammers pose as, a love interest to lonely widows and get them to send money over. It sounds simplistic, but it unfortunately works. And we see huge amounts of money being sent to these people in news stories every single year. So that's our article reprint for the month, but there are tons of other ones too, if you want to, be sending out one every single week. And then of course, our Savvy Cybersecurity presentation that Savvy Cybersecurity members, master members, and advisor client members have access to. It's called 1 Hour to Savvy Cybersecurity, and it is a really interactive presentation. It comes with our quick reference guide that, the presentation begins and you immediately are asking clients or prospects to score their own cybersecurity. They take a quick quiz. Most of them have a really bad score, and then you basically tell them how they can improve that score. So you're giving them concrete actions throughout the presentation. So when they leave, they, are equipped with the information to improve that score and take action immediately. So it's really well received by our advisors who have given it. A lot of them have given it as like a client appreciation event. And clients absolutely love it. Cybersecurity is a topic that affects every single person, but there really isn't a professional out there in everyone's life helping them with it. So we designed this program to really be create the financial advisor as the cybersecurity educator to get out there and just be educating. You don't have to be a tech expert. It's not super technical, and the materials have everything you need to be able to go out there and do that. And again, clients and prospects can take action right away once they leave, which is great.
Yeah, the the cybersecurity aspect of the master membership, or just getting it as a standalone, advisors tell us time and again, as Devin was saying, that their clients really, really love the cybersecurity presentation because it gives them concrete actions they can take and clarity about the kinds of things they need to do to feel confident and optimistic about staying safe now and in the future. So it's not something you would normally think to be in the purview of the financial advisor, but as Devin says, who is out there helping who is out there nudging us to do better with cybersecurity. It's not our mechanic, it's not our doctor, it's not our CPA, but somebody needs to do it. And since the end result of problems with cybersecurity typically are financial, it seems to make sense that the financial advisor is the person. And October is Cybersecurity Month, so it's definitely a great topic that you could also present as a webinar or in person to your clients. So, all right, Devin.
We do have a question that came in. Do you offer personalized monthly newsletters that can be sent to clients?
We, as part of the Horsesmouth Master Membership, you do get a monthly newsletter written by Charles Sherry that you can send as is, or you can download it and modify it and send to your clients. It's slightly more market oriented than financial planning oriented, but it's got financial planning content in there as well. So that comes with your Horsesmouth membership. And of course is available as part of your master membership as well. So that's the answer to that.
We also have a question about getting a replay of this for someone who came in late. Yeah, you'll be able to watch it on demand on whatever platform you're on right now. And it won't be instantaneous, but it will be up there soon. And we'll also run it as an article on our Horsesmouth site probably next week. So you can check it out in either of those places.
Good questions. All right. Well, that looks like that does it for our September monthly marketing meeting. We'll be appearing at this time every month, right, Devin? We're going to be doing
first Thursday at 10 a.m.
First Thursday, 10 a.m. So put that into your calendar and send us questions. Devin, if somebody wants to send us a question, what do you think the best way would be for them to send it to us?
They could send it to advisorclient@horsesmouth.com and we'll both get it that way.
And advisor client, all one word?
All one word.
No slash in between?
Nope.
Yep. Advisor client mashed together one word at horsesmouth.com. Send us your marketing questions and we'll get back to you on those. So thanks everybody and have a great Labor Day weekend. Stay safe, but enjoy the sunny weather, hopefully. Take care.